All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarah Thorson, and I am the Beef Marketing Manager for GENEX. And I am joined with a couple special guests today. Huub, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. So I'm Huub Plater. I'm the CEO at GENEX, and for the last maybe 3 years or so. And before that, I spent a lot of time in the international market, traveling the globe, spreading goodwill and happiness with genetics, with bovine genetics, all over the place. And so that's been the majority of my career. I've spent about 3 decades now, I think, in our industry. So that's kind of the nutshell of the intro.
And Leah James.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Happy to join you this morning. And I'm Leah James, the Dairy Marketing Manager for GENEX. I've been with the cooperative here coming on 8 years, and excited to talk about our newest marketing campaign here this morning.
All right. So Leah mentioned the new marketing campaign, the GENEX Generations, and some of you probably have already seen our new video, but we're going to play it for you this morning, and then we're going to ask Huub a couple questions about what GENEX Generations means to us here at GENEX.
The dawn of a new day, the start of a new life. The promise of a brighter tomorrow with the dedication put in today. It's about embracing the future, learning from the past, and laying the foundation for a successful tomorrow. But that tomorrow must start today, remembering that history and heritage are as important as honesty and hard work. GENEX is here to be your partner for the next generation. Together, we're breeding a different kind of cow for the future. One that grows even more efficiently with more productivity. The next generation will not only require the best genetics, but a clear commitment to animal care. That's why GENEX is more than a genetics company. Our herd care product line will keep them healthy, productive, and growing. And with that same focus on the future, GENEX has the latest technologies accessible anytime, any place, because we know you're always on call. At GENEX, we're proud to work alongside you, shaping the success of a new generation with genetics, herd care solutions, and technologies in hand. We know our legacy and yours isn't complete. Be a part of the GENEX generation today for their tomorrow.
Well, what a fun way to kick off this Facebook Live here. Hopefully you all enjoyed our kickoff with the GENEX Generations video. But to preference that a little bit, we've had a lot of changes in the last few years in GENEX here with the addition into the Urus family. So maybe you can give a little history or background into where GENEX sits now and where we've come really over the last couple of years in that context.
Yeah, thank you, Leah. Yeah, no, thanks for asking that. So it's been almost exactly 2 years since the birth of Urus. And Urus, it's the combination of CRI and coupon. And so GENEX was always part of CRI before that, so now part of Urus. And it's really been a fantastic move for GENEX. I mean, if I look at, the basics and what we do, we bring genetics, genetic progress, and all those kind of things to the dairy and beef producers around the world. And when we look at the peak program, its power and being part of that on the dairy side is just phenomenal. And so we've really been able to really up our game there, to really improve our product line, and while preserving our own image. I mean, that's been a story from employees, from producers, from our directors and our delegates and our members. Is like, what is happening to GENEX? And I'm very happy as we sit here 2 years later as GENEX, and and talking about this really awesome generations campaign, and how we position ourselves and how we see ourselves and those type of things. So being part of yours has really helped us get to the next level, and get to the next level in genetics, get to the next level in services, and then moving forward, we're looking at within yours all the companies that are in there. How can we actually do more? How can we mean more even for producers out there? How can we help them, consult them, and be more successful with the products that we supply? So it's been a really good ride, Leah. Thank you for asking.
Sure, and yeah, as you mentioned, it's just recently celebrated that 2-year anniversary, so that's an exciting milestone. So with that, I think a good early question as we discuss this campaign is, what does the GENEX generation mean in your mind? Huub? What does the GENEX generation mean to you?
Well, when I think of generations, it's all about future, right? I mean, you're talking about always the next generation, and where are we at and where are we going? And you saw that in the video, like, children out there, the next generation, that's what you do it for. And since the launch, I think it was a week ago, early this week, of this video, I mean, producers commented like, this is exactly why I farm. Because let's face it, not every day is fantastic on the farm. And, it's a lot of hard work. Economics aren't always great, and sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. So there's a lot of ups and downs. And keeping in mind what you're doing it for is for the next generation. It's what we've heard from producers. I'm not making this up. These are actual quote from producers that have come back to us. It was like, wow, this really, really shows why we do it. So generations means to me this progress, this futuristic, this doing it for the next generation of cattle, of course, that we work with, but also next generation of employees. As I'm here at management in GENEX, thinking about the next generation of employees, things will be different. We kind of have a baby boomers, Generation X, myself, and then millennials out there. I'm not trying to put people in boxes, but we got these 3 generations on the work floor. Then we also have the last 7-8 months, all this virtual stuff coming at us.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing a generation of kids now getting virtually educated. Whether we like it or not, that's the situation. Yeah. So that's going to really change how the next generation will fit into the organization, fit into the cooperative. And so that to me is also what generation says, how do we go about creating the next generation of cattle that's even better than the current one? How do we also, embrace and work with the next generation of employees coming into the workplace as well? So it's kind of all encompassing in my mind, and really love it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to me, Huub. Leah and I were very close to the project, saw the video from the first draft all the way to where we got it. And of course, we liked it. We didn't know if anyone else would like it. But to hear the reactions that we've gotten from our employees and from customers and members has been really cool, because it really spoke to us both as employees and moms that are raising the next generation of farm kids. So. Yeah. We're really excited that this is GENEX, because this is what we are. It's how we are as a company.
Right.
Yeah.
So Huub, you mentioned earlier when Leah asked about the combination of URUS and GENEX's own identity, and one of the pieces of that identity is we are a cooperative, and we've been working very hard to position ourselves for the future as a modern cooperative. Can you speak to that a little bit this morning?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so right after the combination started 2 years ago, we really started to look at ourselves. Okay, so GENEX, we're a cooperative. Now we're in this URUS group, and so what's next? What do we do now? And so we had a lot of discussion with our delegates, with our directors. So we went back to our membership. It's like, okay, here we are. What do we want to be, and how we want to position ourselves? And we started talking about, modernization of the co-op, and it actually has a link with generations as well. Somebody said, like, well, we don't want to be part of grandpa's co-op. Now, there's nothing wrong with grandpa's co-op, but at the same time, it also briefs kind of, what the tradition was, how it used to be. And the next generation is not too enthused to step into that. So we really need to get the next generation enthused about being part of a co-op, seeing the benefits, seeing the family feeling, having the opportunity to give input. And so we took this journey with our delegates first, and then with the directors, and also with staff, and like, okay, now what are we really looking at here as co-op modernization? And one thing we did is change how we group members, how we group delegates, and to make it all more relevant for each of those groups, because there's a huge variation in the landscape right now, in particularly on the dairy side, and so we're reorganizing that. We're just at the start of that, and how we have different communication strategies and plans, and more meaningful communications with whatever producer we have in front of us. So we're putting that onto the next level. Also, what we're doing is, as part of the co-op modernization, is making this global. So that's going to be a challenging task. I mean, rules, regulations, laws are different around the world, everywhere, and it's not going to be a from today till tomorrow kind of event. But we'll be working on that, and that will give us even a stronger position as co-op in the market. So that co-op modernization is very important, and the link again with generations is very clear to me. We will have a directors, and we will have youth people coming with that. Actually, an interesting side story to that is, like, last year we always have our fall input meetings, and this was kind of just before COVID. We could still meet in person. We ask all of the delegates to bring with them to the meeting a next generation person, and many of them did that just to give exposure to the next generation, to 20, 25-year-olds that are coming back to the farm. Is like, what is mom or dad doing at these co-op meetings? So bring them along. You can see what this is all about. And so that was fantastic. So many last year had exposure to that, and we'll continue that. We'll continue to come up with these kind of activities, how to include more people, how to be more embracing more producers out there from multiple generations.
So. Well, and I love that historical perspective, because I grew up with the cooperative in my house too. Like, that was just, we were part of co-ops, and so that tie to having that connection and that voice was like ingrained in me. But I know a lot of people, that's something new to them. So I think, yeah, bringing and weaving in that next generation to allow them to have that voice is going to be pretty powerful as we kind of modernize. And I'm excited to see how we do that along the way as well, to really tap into that next generation. But really, shifting gears, I think we'd be remiss to not briefly discuss genetics. Obviously, we're a genetics company, so maybe, Huub, you can speak a little bit to how kind of our genetic philosophy fits into generations, with ICC on the dairy side, and kind of that cow sense and science on the beef side.
Yeah. No, thanks, Leah. So on the genetic side, 5 or 6 years ago, we launched ICC, so Ideal Commercial Cow, right? I mean, that was our positioning. It's always been our positioning, but at that time, we kind of put it all into one number and saying, okay, this is different than the typical TPI or net merit ranking or whatever ranking we see. We have our own ICC, and then in that formula, we put in some traits that weren't available elsewhere. We put in there health traits from the start that have recently also been implemented into lifetime net merit through the CDCB. But we were already in there a couple years ago with the ICC, and we also really focused on efficiency there. So I think we're actually in really good shape with late this year. There'll be the feed conversion or feed safe kind of direction we're going in genetics. So we'll be getting more efficient animals. And we've always been focusing on that in ICC anyway. So I think that's been a really, really positive one. And to link that to the beef side, I think we should also be really looking at on the beef side what we can do there. And there are already more and more indexes coming out on the beef side, and many of the breeds. And then I saw one this week, a new one coming out that says, okay, if you make the next generation of females, this is what you should be using, and this is on the grid, kind of index. And so I think we really need to work hard on that as well into the future. And part of the challenge on the beef side is getting enough data. But I think we can really beef on dairy, all about this, what's happening in the US market on that. So we can maybe link some of that data and do more on the beef side as well with true data, true indexes at a higher reliability level. But we're looking forward to the future and even be more futuristic thinking on ICC, and then keeping that new. I think we want to put some wellness type traits in there. Some of those things that we're seeing popping up all over the place. When you go back over the decades, in the start of my career in the industry, people were all talking about, look, we need more milk, we need more protein, we need more of everything. We need higher and higher production. Up until a point that, it was all about fertility, because we lost some of the fertility advantages and things like that. And then health came around the recent, 4 or 5 years. And now into the future, I think a lot of the wellness things are coming back as well. And so how are we going to measure that? How are we going to implement that and put that all into ICC or some kind of a tool that producers can really utilize is yet to be seen. But we'll be working hard on that and making that happen, taking that to the next level.
Sure.
And well, Huub, and along with that health and wellness, another piece of the generations was our herd care line products, because, we talk a lot about the investment that farmers and ranchers make in their genetics, but that can't stop once those calves are on the ground. So can you speak to a little bit what we're doing there on the herd care line side to continue that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, herd care line has really been one of the fastest growing parts of GENEX. And we've split it up actually on cow care and calf care. So when you look at cow care, cow calves, so we got Cal-24 boluses. It's a one-time administer 2 boluses, and then you're good. So then you have less down cows with milk fever and all those type of things. So it's been a really, really popular product there. Repop, I think, is another very popular product. Microbial, I always screw that word up, but anyway, it's for gut health. That I do know. And then so that one is also, again, for wellness, right? I mean, in both cases, you don't want to have down cows. You don't want to have cows not feel well. So both these products work really well for that. And the third one that I want to share here is OptiShield. It's like a teat sealant when you dry off cows. Of course, also very important, to prevent mastitis and those type of things. So these 3 things are very important, and we're seeing a huge uptake in the market on that. I mean, producers are well aware of wellness and on keeping cows healthy, getting them into the next lactation, all those type of things. So that's on the cow side. So we'll continue to build on that. On the calf side, we have SCCL, so colostrum, so that we all know that from back in school and everywhere. Like that first couple of hours, get colostrum into the calves is very, very important. Get them going. Also, we got Pop Plus again. Gut health, and last but not least is Push, and it's kind of an energy bar the way I look at it. It's a little bit like you look at a calf and she's a little down, and it always reminds me of that Snickers commercial. That calf is just not him or herself. So give her a Snickers, or in this case, a Push. Kind of it's an energy protein supplement for that calf, and gives her an energy boost. So those are some of the things that we're doing on the wellness side, on the care side there, that I think are really awesome, and are really staff and the producers are really embracing that and bringing that out there throughout the world.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned the Snickers or energy boost. As a Jersey producer, it's critical for those Jersey calves. They really appreciate the push product in that regard. So, lastly, Hoop, did you have anything else that we didn't touch upon that you wanted to share with members or customers? Any new things coming down the pike in regards to GENEX or things to look for at all?
Well, I mean, keep looking for innovative new products coming, being rolled out, and so we just talked about the herd care line, and so there'll be some coming there, but I think late this year, early next, we're also coming out with more of the technology side products as well. We really want to tie kind of farm information into making those valuable insights on what's happening on farms, and then so you really can look forward to that one. That be something in early 2021. We'll be rolling out a couple of programs there, but I can't say too much because then you ladies say, well, we don't have the launch program worked out yet. But I know that will be really exciting. It will tie together a lot of the value-added programs that we currently have all separate. It will tie them all into one, and then that will be great as well. We are also working on getting more into the activity monitoring space as well, and I think that'd be a key as well. I mean, looking at behavior of animals more than we've ever had. I mean, traditionally, of course, we look at what's in the milk jar, right? What's milk, and what's in the packing plant, what's on the grid. But we also need to start looking at more at like behavior of animals and how they do and this and that. And then and that comes with activity systems, that comes with measurement systems. So be on the outlook for those with GENEX involvement in that as well. So, okay.
Well, Huub, Leah, thank you for joining me this morning. It was great to visit with you guys about the GENEX Generations campaign, and I know that we are looking forward to sharing a lot more over the coming weeks and months and years. So welcome to the GENEX Generation, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I mean, this is my first Facebook Live. This is really awesome.
Well, I see many more in your future, Huub.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah.